There we go. We're back again. Guys, welcome back to another Thursday. We have Michael Frankie here, and I am Caroline Kane. If this is your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. Michael, I know that you just saw it, and I was actually in the Facebook group. I have been getting, since we've been doing this little live every Thursday, I've been getting, this must be how you feel all the time. I've been getting messages of people like, thank you so much. I closed another deal. Following this strategy, I'm closing deals. I'm helping more homeowners. This is really good. I feel great about myself. How many people have messaged you in the last week because they've gotten a deal done?
Man, I would say probably 3 to 4 a day, more
Three to
than
four.
likely. It's quite a bit. I mean, guys, that's why we do this. Niche lists aren't easy, and you definitely have to put in the work, and you have to be persistent and show up every day. But guys, people are getting results left and right. Some people might get results in a shorter time than others. Like today, I got one. I believe, what was it, 3 months, Caroline? That
Mm-hmm.
someone was working. They tagged both of us in their story. But guys, I mean, would 3 months of work be worth it to change your life? I think so. So, and then once you have that unlock in your mind, well, then probably the amount of time till your next deal is probably going to be less. So, man, it's really, really encouraging to see.
Once you guys learn that skill, it just gets easier and easier, which is really neat. And the whole purpose of us doing this is to cut down your learning curve so we can help more homeowners, so we can make more possible for everybody, and you especially. I mean, a few people are like, I'm quitting my job now. I've made enough money. I can go full time in this, which is really, really neat because you guys get
Well,
to make your own.
I've actually been reached out to by people that have quit their job because they wanted to, but I've also been reached out to that people got let go from their job, and now they're in a situation to where it's like, ooh, I really have to capitalize, and a few of those people have now. So that's how it happened to me. I was let go from my teaching job 2015. It was a wrongful termination, but that's what happened, and I got pushed, my back up against the wall, and that's how some of you guys are going to have to do it. Some of you guys that have been listening to us and you're not doing deals, well, there's no pressure that's forcing you to create a result. And sometimes circumstances in your life have to happen in order for you to get that result. I hope that's not the case, but sometimes that's what forces it out of you. Pressure creates diamonds.
Absolutely. So we've been doing this for, man, I don't even know what I got to go back and look at what our first date was when we started this, but I love jumping on these Thursdays, and we want to keep it short and sweet and to the point. We're trying to give you all information that is going to be applicable, helping you and take all the fluff out of it and all the mystery. But the quick thing for everybody on here, the secret sauce is just doing the work. Going and finding somebody who needs help and doing the work. And you don't have to have all the answers. We do this every Thursday to help you out. We want you guys to get deals done. So when you find somebody who doesn't know if you don't know how to solve the situation, you can reach out to us. Come here and bring your problem so it can be solved. And I'm going to ask it, Michael, because I've seen it in the Facebook group from so many people. We're in Q2. What do we got to wait for the end of Q2? Is it just we need to be patient and see what's going to happen with your niche list community?
We're working hard on it. It'll be in Q2.
It'll be in Q2. So for everybody who doesn't know, some point this quarter, Michael is going to be releasing a mentorship that you guys can learn from. I'm excited to go. I'm ready to sign up as the first student. Guys, follow success. Success leaves clues. Michael has been doing, was it 6 years?
6 years in niche lists and almost 9-10 years overall. Yeah, flying by.
Guys, so I just had somebody message. If you guys are on Instagram Live, come over here to YouTube so I can see you guys and we can bring you up on stage. I'm going to throw a link in the side chat. If you guys would I need to get 15 more people on here before I throw that in there. So share this video with a few more people so they can come onto the live so we can get to more of you and answer your questions so you guys can come up on stage with us. But the reason why niche lists are so good and why we talk about helping homeowners that are in pre-foreclosure, they have a problem that needs to be solved. We get paid to solve problems. And before you even started the live, you have problems right now. We all have problems going on in our businesses and in our lives. We need help getting those solved. But if there's a pain, you're going to look for a result or solution to that pain. And that's what we can provide to these homeowners. If you're getting overwhelmed, that's a good problem to have. It means you got a lot of deals going on. You're helping families. We're making a difference. And the really cool thing I've been hearing a lot, Michael, is because of the approach that, we're having, copying off of what you've done, is like people, you know what? Why don't I just share the Facebook page really quickly so everybody can see it? I want you guys, here it is right here. I thought this was super cool. So Fernando just posted this inside of the Facebook group and said, "It took me a week to take massive action with no excuses and use everything that Michael and Caroline teach for free to set an appointment. After leaving a note, 15-minute phone call, and it was said I was the first person to not press him and made him feel like I truly wanted to help. He just put it on the MLS 3 days ago. Let's see what this turns into." All you need to do, guys, is have quality conversations and lead with value. That's it. And I think that's super cool that was one of them. I don't know if there's another one I saw that somebody else tagged us on, but I really liked reading that one today. And it's just going in with a service mindset. Would you say anything different when you're reaching out, or what's been the biggest difference for you, Michael?
No, just exactly what you said. I mean, I actually put out a YouTube video yesterday with one of my acquisition guys. His name's Winston. He had experience in this industry before, a couple years, but just doing basic stuff, drive for dollars, those types of things, which work. But he came and worked for me. And in his first 2 weeks of doing niche lists, got 5 pre-foreclosure contracts. So we go through a handful of those and kind of his thought process and what we did to teach him up and just his whole experience. So if you want some proof of concept, that video is also good because he came from being in the NFL. He played for the Tennessee Titans and then got into real estate, was green, now is having a whole lot of success with it. So people can come from all different backgrounds and have success. So you just need to get in there and watch that, unlock that in your mind, and then take massive action and go out there until you have a result.
Can you have that posted on your YouTube so people can watch it?
What's that?
It's posted on your YouTube so everybody can watch it?
Yeah. Most recent video posted yesterday.
Ooh, and guys, again, another thing, make sure you have your notifications turned on when we're going live because we do this every Thursday. I'm going to pull up Michael's YouTube so we can all see it here. So when you go to YouTube, there it is. It pops up because it's most recent. Just so you guys see, Michael D. Frankie, you can click on it. There you go. And what to focus on. So there, one day, perfect. There's a lot of other resources we have on here too. If you go to the video section, I've told everybody this, but I've even right here, this one, the angry, let me pull it up a little higher. Angry seller. That's a resource I actually give to my team. My team looks at that, and those, if you guys are looking for a script to start with, that's what it is. Right, there's tons of stuff on here. Where's the other one that I really like you have? Somebody said, can we stop an auction? How long does it take for us to stop an auction? Michael has it all laid out right here for free. You guys don't have to spend any money. So just want to make sure that you guys are aware of those things on YouTube. Use those resources, tackle them. They'll help you out a ton. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw in the invite so you guys can come up on stage and ask us some questions. But I'm going to go, because I know there's people that have been on Instagram. If you guys are not aware of this, I'm going to go to the questions you guys have been asking us on our Instagram. We have a little group chat kind of thing. It's called a collaboration on Instagram. So you can interact with Michael and I. We'll put out, like Michael posted his video from yesterday in there. It's in our channel. So I want to go to the questions that you guys have asked on there. And I'm going to get to them really quickly. So Michael, the first one that I can see was posted by Mitch Lendersmith. It says identifying properties on the public list that are good for pre-foreclosure. So how do you try to identify who you're going to talk to when you see that the house is going to pre-foreclosure?
So it all depends on the leverage you have in terms of your team, how much time you have to put into it, what your radius from your area that you're willing to go. Mm-hmm. But one of the first things I look at is proximity to the foreclosure sale or proximity to how new that notice of default is. So again, we've gone over this on this show a bunch of times. Where is the highest leverage? Right at the beginning of notice of default, right at the end of foreclosure. So you're looking at those, okay? Then if you want to pare it down even more, okay, you can look at equity from a bunch of different sites, PropStream, etc. Then look at the ones that are in that time window that have a bunch of equity. Then you can go to those houses, hopefully have a conversation with the seller, maybe find out that they're vacant and you can deep research them. But if you want to get a result really quick, it's the ones that are in that time window and have equity so that the deal is viable.
I love that. That's a really good. Here you go. I'm going to find a way to. Oh, I can't see it on the computer. I'm
You
only
gotta
gonna
bring up your little whiteboard thing.
I was gonna try and share. It's on my iPad. I was gonna try and share it on my computer, but it won't show the message if I share my screen onto it. The next question I have is from Harsha. I'm gonna mess up the name. Harsharovan. It's too long of one word. So, anyways, they said, I'm finding and working leads in central Montana. And I actually really wanted to talk about this. I'm going to throw it up on the screen so everybody can see. Let's talk about markets. Markets to work in. So central Montana, I went to Montana this summer. Beautiful country. Absolutely nothing to do unless you are a billionaire, I feel like, or you live on a farm. Just from my experience, when we went there, nothing was open because like the billionaires were moving into Kalispell. And it's not affordable to live. Taco Bell closed. Wendy's was the only restaurant open, like up until 10 p.m. Like,
you mean billionaires don't go to Taco Bell? Everyone needs a bean burrito, right?
Right. It was nuts. So I think being able to pick a good market where things are happening is very important. So what I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't make sure I threw this up on screen so everybody can see it. Pick a market where opportunities are happening. One thing, if you guys have anything in Phoenix, I'm buying in Phoenix. Michael is buying all over Kansas City. You automatically have 2 buyers built in. So look for opportunities there. Michael, how would you say that you pick a market, though? What are you looking for to know if the market is viable to be able to profit in?
Well, for me, it's always been important to be in that market. Not everyone has that luxury. You know, some of you are out in California or different markets to where it's really expensive, hard to get into. But with pre-foreclosures, with niche list, can you do it virtually? 100%. Hey, but it's a lot easier to do it when you're there, you're body to body. People can put a face with a name. So the first thing to me has always been, you know, are you there? Do you understand that market? Can you meet face to face with the seller? If so, great. Next would be, is that market big enough to have enough leads to where you're going to have regular deal flow? So in Kansas City, there's probably anywhere around 300 leads a month, give or take, with pre-foreclosures. I bet it's way north of that in Phoenix. What do you think it is in Phoenix? 1,000?
I would say at any time in Phoenix, there's probably 1,600 properties in pre-foreclosure.
Right.
Yeah.
So that would be the first 2 things. What are some that you look for, Caroline? I actually don't have the experience of going virtual.
Different
markets.
Markets.
You try to do stuff in like Tampa and stuff. And
man, I did. So let me tell you guys.
Or do we have a virtual person in the room that can share that?
Well, I mean, I can give you my experience. So because I was on Pace's acquisition team and then I was on his dispo team. We tried to do stuff nationwide, but especially being as new as I was when I started, I bit off way more than I could chew. I didn't know how to understand specific markets. So the quickest answer I would tell all of you, you could and I've even heard other people say this, pay attention to U-Haul, where U-Haul says most people are migrating to. You can figure out where things are happening. I would say the biggest markets to invest in are probably going to be the capitals of specific states. And you want to see how many fix and flips are happening in an area. So you can look up on Zillow for free and see what's just recently been sold. You can see if it's a fix and flip, check those out. If you guys do have access to Privy will let you know which areas are in. You don't need to use Privy to get that going. I would say if you're getting started, pick a Sunbelt state where people want a vacation. That's probably really easy for you. But Michael, I just actually brought on one of my cold callers because she cannot door knock for me. She lives in the panhandle of Florida, but she's calling my leads. So we got a deal under contract from a person on my team calling the lead, initiating the conversation. I went over, they set the appointment for me. I went over, met with them in person after I'd had them talk to a lender because they wanted to try and refinance, which ended up not being possible. And I put it under contract. So you can have those agreements with people that are doing deals in the markets that are happening, which would be very helpful for you. But I'd say quickest pick for you, Kansas City, Phoenix, Dallas, Houston. Texas is a non-disclosure state, so it might be a little sticky. I know North Carolina, Charlotte is a big one where people are investing right now. Pay attention to where people are trying to buy, and that will really help you. But if you're in the middle of Montana, where there aren't any comps nearby, it's going to be very hard, especially when you're getting started. Do you have something you want to say, Mike?
something you could easily do is go into any market, look for some Facebook pages that are investor based, see what kind of activity is going on in there. Like all of our Facebook pages here in Kansas City are blowing up with stuff every day. I'm sure it's the same in Phoenix. So that's kind of a good barometer to see, are people buying? Are people looking for deals? Are there partners in that market that are wanting to help investors out? So that's something that you could look into.
I'm going to just share this really. All I did, I'm going to show you guys what I did. I just Googled U-Haul Mall migration trends, clicked right here, and you can see the number one places people are moving to. So Texas, you'd probably want to see which city they're moving into, but these are your top states where people are like, think of this. These are warm states. People are tired of freezing in New York and stuff. So you can see what's happening
Where's
there.
the great state of Missouri there? Are we at the bottom?
It might actually be oh my gosh, there you go, 28.
Hey, 28. We're almost midway. We're all right.
But you guys can see where things are happening now. That doesn't mean you should go do deals in the middle of nowhere, Missouri. Pick an area where people want to move, where there's job opportunities, and that will help you out a ton. So I just wanted to remind you guys, pick markets where fix and flips are happening. You're going to be able to move those deals. There's people that can buy that home because there is an economy that's supporting it. I see Tanner and I see you guys in the background. I'm going to bring you up after this last question that I have. So Shane Raven Davis said, setting KPIs, but also pulling a list to focus my KPIs on. I know you and I have talked about KPIs a lot. I can share my screen in a moment because I copied off of your KPIs, but why do KPIs matter and what is a KPI, Michael?
KPI is a key performance indicator. It's something that you put into place as a metric to know I need to do this amount of activity to generate this result. And it's important because if you're not measuring it, then more than likely you won't take the action to accomplish it. I talk about it with my guys all the time. The KPI is 15 door knocks a day, 50 calls. Well, then when they're complaining to me that they didn't get a deal that week, for instance, and I look at their KPIs and it's like, well, you're only averaging 7 door knocks and 24 calls. Well, no wonder you're not getting a deal. You're not hitting the metric. And then it's like, it's easy to get them back and be accountable with that. So really the short answer is they're important because they keep you accountable to get to the goal that you set for yourself.
What measure grows? What you measure grows. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't get big biceps from thinking about becoming a bodybuilder. He had to go in the gym. He had to put in the work. He had to measure, okay, I've done 10 sets of 15 reps. My arms are about to fall off. And he just kept maxing out. You got to do one extra step that's going to help you get a little bit further. So make sure you're measuring what you're doing. I'm going to share my KPIs really quickly with you guys. And it's just basically what Michael has for his team because I copied off of it. So what do I want my team to do in the morning? Journal their gratitudes, their goals, their hot follow-ups, and their tasks that must be completed. And I explain why do we do this? To keep the main thing. What we measure grows. To call their new leads, follow up their hot leads, then their warm leads, and their cold leads, map out their route for door knocking. And then here are our KPIs. Why do we have these standards? This is the minimum for success. We are building up your pipeline to have steady deal flow coming in. We must be front of mind to help these homeowners. As a team member, you will track your KPIs in the morning and in the evening. What you write is what you invite. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. Whatever area you need help in, do not hesitate to ask for it. Guys, come here on Thursdays. We do this every Thursday for you to help you out. Your success equals team success and more families saving their homes and their credit. So here are the KPIs just so you guys can see them right now. 50 calls a day, 15 conversations. Those can be new ones and follow up. 15 doors knocked a day, 5 appointments set, 1 contract a day. Now, I don't know if you guys are new, let us know in the side chat where you are. And if you're brand new, we're really curious to see where most of these people are coming in from. But if you are new, do you think I'm expecting all my new people to get 1 contract a day when they get started? That's not fair. You know what I mean? That's just not fair at all. So you got to build up your pipeline so you can get that. So when your pipeline is full, you're setting those appointments and then it's kind of like a domino effect. What you do now will reap benefits in 3 months from now. Okay. So I just want to share that with you guys. Now you guys get a visual. I know talking all the time does not help a ton. I'm going to answer a few of the other questions, but I have Stacy and Tanner in the background here. So I'm going to bring them up. And then Vlad just said, what is the link for? The link is to come on stage and ask questions with us. So let's bring up Tanner and Stacy, because I know you guys just told us about getting your first deal done. What's going on, guys?
How's it going?
Hello.
Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, you sound great.
Excellent. Sweet. I set all this up really fast because I wanted to be ready.
Well, cool. Tell us what's going on and where you guys are. Give us the whole spiel.
Want to start?
Sorry. Well, we are actually in Cookeville, Tennessee, and we started about 3 months ago with working foreclosures. And Tanner was actually one who brought Michael to my attention and was like, "Hey, let's do this. This sounds like a great avenue to go," because we had joined the Sub 2 community first.
Yeah, like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we were trying to spin wheels. We were completely new to this. He's in software development, and I was going to be in software development before my company laid me off. And he presented this opportunity like, "Hey, you want to get into real estate?" And so we gave it a shot, and it's paying off.
Love it.
Okay. So tell me about it. So you guys have been doing this. It took you 3 months of going after pre-foreclosures to get your first deal done. How did you find the deal? Was it just luck of the draw? Somebody reached out to you guys and they're like, "You're good looking, help me out." What happened?
So I think what's really funny is we started, I didn't know what to do. And 3 months of just like, let me set up this system and let me set up this, and didn't do anything. And then I was like, you know, we just got to make calls. So I called 500 multifamilies because I was like, I want to get multifamilies. And I was like, I just made a list of every multifamily in like a 10-mile area, and I called 500 people, and I didn't get it. We didn't get anything. We have 2 leads that might happen eventually, which is cool, but we didn't get anywhere. And then we started skip tracing foreclosures after watching. I watched Michael's video at some point a while back, and then I was like, okay, let's get foreclosures going. Let's figure that out. We started skip tracing through PropStream, and we were just getting nowhere, kind of cutting our teeth. Like the things that we were saying were really like odd and off. So we got a rhythm going, and then sorry, I just heard the speaker turn off, so I won't be able to hear you when you talk.
Oh, no.
But we got a rhythm going, and we were spending a ton of money on skip tracing. So then we saw you guys say like, go to Free People Search or True People Search and go to auction.com. And so we started doing that. And that's where we ran across this gentleman who needed a hand. And we started with value, and there's a whole story behind that, but I'm going to fix it while she talks, but she can't hear you. So I'm going to fix this real quick.
Yeah, technical difficulties. I can't even talk. Technical difficulties.
All right. So while we're letting them get that fixed up, because she's not talking right now, we'll bring you back up on stage once you guys have it fixed. One thing I want to say, so they've been in for a while. They've been grinding their teeth, pulling data. I did that too. Michael, did you ever just pull lists and try and call them and see if anything would come from it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I cold called high equity absentee owner type list for sure. All of that I've done.
Same thing. So the reason why we tell everybody to go after these niche lists is because you know they have motivating factors and they need help. So for everybody on here, if this is your first time, again, please tell us where you're at. If you've done 0 deals, if you're on to your next deal, let us know in the side chat just so we can get a range of things. And if you guys ask questions, we'll get those saved. If we don't get to them today, we'll do them next Thursday, again, 12 o'clock Arizona time. But the reason why we're going after these niche lists, they have multiple pain points and they need help. So I assume you guys get your speaker back on?
We're back.
There we go. So tell us what happened with this. Why did this gentleman or whoever it was want to work with you guys?
Yeah, so I called him. I didn't really know how to lead in because it's the first deal that we actually had like traction on. And he needed a lot, right? His house had 3 holes in the roof. Things were going bad. And I was like, okay, what's going on with you? He's like, I already signed a contract with somebody. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? We'll get a good review out of it. I'm just going to help him anyways. Like, forget it. There's a good chance I'm not going to get anything out of this. But a review is good. We don't have any of those right now. So
yeah.
We started working on SNAP for him, which is like a food assistance program. We looked into housing because he's going to have to relocate. So we found like some houses that were like $400,000 for $400 a month. He's paying $780 right now. He makes $1,500 a month off Social Security. Like $300 for SNAP would make a huge difference. $400 for housing would make a huge difference. Just all these things. I found a mover because his house is in disarray, so they'll pack everything for him. I got them to give me a discount for him. We just did all this, and it basically just turned out that the guy he was talking to, he hated. He was like, I hate this guy. And he kept telling, he's using curse words and I hate this guy so much. And I was like, well, you're going to make $20K off of it. You should probably still work with him. Like, it's a good idea. And he's like, can you just deal with him? And I'm thinking, oh, now we're really going above and beyond. I'm going to make this other guy money, but sure. So yeah, we called him. He was a pain in the butt, but I got it going. And then out of nowhere, he's like, I'm not working with him anymore. I actually signed a contract with another guy. And I'm like, okay.
Not us.
Right.
Yeah.
So then we just keep helping and letting it go. And then 9 days out, I was like, have you heard from that other guy? And he's like, no. And I was like, well, you're still at auction. You don't have probate gone because it's his mom's house who's dead. There's no probate. Him and his brother don't talk. So they're two heirs that don't get along.
Mm-hmm. It was an interesting situation. And this other company that he had signed a contract with, they were, it looked like on paper it was going to be a great deal, but they didn't have a legitimate contract. They didn't have both heirs, and they weren't doing anything to help figure out the probate or do anything. Their whole plan was, we'll lock it up in contract. If it doesn't go through, whatever, we'll buy it at auction. We don't care what happens to this guy. And so we worked really hard with a lot of really good people to get this done for him so that he could walk away with at least something. Team. I mean, it came down to 15 minutes, and this company was still throwing things in to make it as hard as possible for this deal to go through.
Yeah.
But we were able to make it happen, and he luckily was able to walk away with at least something, especially with everything he's going through, and felt pretty nice to lead with value to begin with. Mm-hmm. And then for him to get the best possible outcome he could get from this.
That's really cool. Yeah. So one thing I'm taking notes when you guys are talking, and this is just for everybody, just a tip when you're talking to homeowners, take notes so you can retain things. 2 things I wrote down for you and what I've heard, what you guys have just said. This is very important for everybody because I thought I was going to get it under contract. I need to check my Slack with my team and see if they got it under contract yet. But we have a homeowner who has an auction on Wednesday of next week. Somebody else put her under contract back in January, and they have not spoken to her since. They were supposed to close at the end of February. What you guys have done, this other person that got your homeowner under contract did not communicate with them. Communication is key. So I wrote down communication. I put a star and I underlined that. When you guys are reaching out to these homeowners, they're overwhelmed. They really don't know what's going on. This might be the first sale, if they're inheriting a property, of a property they've ever experienced. You've got to stay on task and keep them up to date with what's happening. That is what can differentiate you from getting the deal from somebody else and somebody wanting to work with you. Sounds like the other people that got them under contract promised them the world, but didn't even know the processes they needed to go through to get the other heir involved, to go through probate to make sure it's taken care of. And then the other thing that I really wrote down is you guys did go above and beyond. What's the thing you say? Divorce yourself from what's your phrase, Michael?
Divorce yourself from your own desires and care about the person on the other side of the table. Huge. And this is a perfect example. I mean, guys, I don't know how many times I've had situations to where someone said, yeah, I've signed a contract with someone else. Now, as an ethical person, do I ever try to undermine their contract? Absolutely not. But that doesn't stop me from saying, hey, I'm glad that they've got the whole money side set up with the contract and they're going to take care of the foreclosure. But how else can I provide value? And that's what you guys did perfectly. That makes my heart happy more than anything, is that you decided to serve even though you probably weren't going to get anything out of it. And that's kind of how this world works. When you serve people and do the right thing, eventually it will come back and serve you. And that's just beautiful.
That's so exciting.
The rapport we built was insane. Like this guy, so he was offered 70 by the other company, just for number wise. And I was like, I've never done this, so I don't know, but I know there's 3 holes in the roof. And I was like, I can't offer you that, but I can get you 50, and that's better than nothing. And it sounds like you're going to get nothing because they're going to let it foreclose. And he's like, 50 is better than nothing. And I was like, oh, okay. And had we made, because what ended up happening was like a 4-way split between people of like this huge nightmare to get everyone figured out. So we made far less than what we thought we were going to make. But had we made that full amount, it's like, well, we can turn around and return a bunch of this, because I just didn't know if I could sell it at 70. So I just came at a number like, I know I can sell it at 50, because I know I assumed really high. And then it ended up being like the repairs that were quoted to another one of our team, like that we pulled in. It was way under what I thought. So I just didn't know. So, but building the report did that. It made that all happen. And the brothers who hate each other both call me to contact the other one. So I'm playing middleman still to divvy up the inheritance from the mom and the dad from
Just
4
think
years
about
ago.
all that you guys learned on your first deal.
So much.
I mean, where you learned how different contacts to serve these people for housing and for food and whatever else that you talked about. You learned about probate. You learned about not trusting other investors to get it done, because investors have the name they do for a reason. Most people are there to just earn money, and that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys and Caroline and I and everyone on this Zoom and everyone doing the niche movement are slowly changing the perception of what it looks like to be an investor. So now every time that guy that you helped talks to someone else about investors, be like, yeah, Tanner wanted to make money, but he was a good dude. He really helped me out. And that's what we're really hoping for, is that over time there's more and more of us, and that's how things are done.
Yeah.
That's the right way to do it. And that's exciting. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, we ended the deal, and it just didn't work out as well for him as we wanted. So, and we made less than everybody else, but we're still going to we're paying for his movers. We're kind of making sure that's all good. He's now going to move in with his girlfriend, but now they're not sure because of the moving timeline. So the final buyer gave him 90 days originally, and then snuck in a piece of paperwork to him that he signed. This guy would just sign anything you put in front of him.
Poor guy.
And he signed that he'd be out in 14 days. And I was like, why did you guys give him 14 days? Like, it's like inhumane. You're not being people.
So we definitely learned another thing when we're working with someone, give them a heads up, say, hey, if you have any questions or if you're not sure, don't sign anything until you've talked to us, that sort of thing. So
100%.
Another lesson learned.
Learning lessons.
Yep.
Very valuable deal in that aspect.
How much would you guys have paid to learn everything that you just learned on this first deal? What do you think you would have paid to do this?
I think we learned almost more from just doing this deal than the last 6 months of putting everything together. It's like we busted our butts to learn everything from the niche community, from Sub 2, and from other investors in the community like Eddie and Mark Ample, and like there's tons of other people that we've talked to from meetups and watching the videos and practicing. This by far was just getting in and doing, like you guys say.
It was so scary,
educational and scary, and it was great though. It really was.
Look what happened though. It's scary, but you didn't die. You saved a homeowner from losing their entire inheritance, homeowners, and now you guys know what to do moving forward, right? Isn't that how many other leads do you guys have warm right now that you're helping?
We messed up on that part. I'll be fair.
What?
As soon as we started this, we became all consumed by this because it was such a crazy deal.
So many moving
and we didn't
parts.
know anything. So we definitely have that is a learned lesson. We need to keep up on that.
All right. So how many doors are you knocking today?
You're gonna hate this answer. We don't live near any of our cities, so we are.
So let me rephrase
Where are
this.
you?
How many phone calls are you going to make today?
Yeah, so we live in Cookeville. Our goal is to make 40 phone calls a day, minimum. I work full time as a W-2 as well. So, but yeah, we live an hour and a half from Knoxville. We live an hour and a half from Nashville, and we live an hour and 40 from Chattanooga. This deal was in Memphis. That's 4 hours.
3.5 to 4 hours away.
Yeah. So we're not doing any door
knocking.
knocking.
You need to gain a little bit of clarity on where you want to start first, instead of trying to do too much. That sounds like a dream to me, to be in the middle of 3 different markets. But for someone that's new, you really need to focus on one area and get really good at that. Once you've got it systemized in that area, perhaps add on others. But having 3 different markets, 3 different ecosystems, that's a lot. That's a lot to handle. So then if you have a deal that comes your way, how would you even know that it was a deal?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I think we've been getting most of our stuff in, which is crazy because it's 4.5 hours away in Memphis.
Where this guy lives.
But Memphis is just going through so many foreclosures right now that it's like the deals are great. Like there's so many deals if we can get them.
You guys need to
Yep.
connect with Greg. Turn your head, Greg, to the camera. He
Hey,
lives
what's
in
going on?
Memphis.
Sorry, I had stuff muted.
Oh,
Hey,
that's right.
y'all are doing deals in Memphis? Hey, Michael, how's it
How's
going?
it going?
Good deal. Y'all
So-
are doing deals in Memphis. Y'all need to connect with me.
Yeah, Greg.
Okay.
All right.
I'm into it.
Could they call leads and you could could they work with you and JV with you on deals?
Absolutely. I
would be
want to make
great.
sure you have my contact info.
Boom.
We need to connect.
All right, I'll bring
Sweet.
him back up stage, but I'm going to keep it nice and neat for you. So if Memphis has more pre-foreclosures for you, you already have boots on the ground with Greg. Greg actually has an entire folder in the Zoom vault that's called pre-foreclosure door knocking. So if you go into the Zoom vault and look at that, you can see where Greg's pulled the data. You can Greg and I talked yesterday. Oh, I didn't mean to bring it back up. I'm keep playing with your emotions. But I talked to him
Yanking
yesterday.
Greg around here.
Yeah, just jerk him around. But he had a homeowner that actually, you know what? We'll bring him back up. We're just going to do it. Greg, what happened with that call that you had me with yesterday? You
were
offered a
confusing
number to
me.
somebody? Jerk
No,
you around.
that's awesome. We got it under contract. It was and thank you, Caroline. You know, sometimes that when you do a lot of the stuff yourself, you end up like learning things, sales tactics, and different things to say. And sometimes it just doesn't come to the forefront of your mind. And sometimes you just got to have a conversation with another person to.
So let's
to
tell
revisit
everybody. The one thing I want to bring in, like, look, we have Michael on here. You have me. You have Greg. You guys are on here. This is the whole Michael, how many people were on our lives when we started doing this? We probably had like 20 people show up when we got
I have
started.
no idea how many people are on normally.
Well,
I just
right.
talk and you look at that
I'm the
stuff.
one. I'm like, do we have enough people? Are we being engaged? I'm checking the analytics, but we started really small, and now this is what a community is good for, and this is what your network is good for. Okay, like Michael has done way more door knocking, way more deals than me, but I'm asking him questions, and it's brought value to me. And I'm like, I want everybody else to experience this. Michael, can you do a show with me on Thursdays? Sure, why not? Let's help more people. Let's change the way that investors are seen in the industry so we can help more homeowners. I was actually told Michael this idea. Michael, I deal with a lot of Hispanic families out here that are just getting railed by hard money loans. And I want to put something out in Spanish so people know, don't get a hard money loan on properties. Like, don't get tricked into this, so we can help more homeowners and do the right thing. Lead with, like, I know that you have a very strong Christian background, Michael. You lead with your Christian faith. You do things. I know you said last week you got a deal from, you pray in the morning, and somebody said they prayed and you were the person that came, like, that ended up helping them with their problems. Do the right thing morally. Do the right thing ethically, and more opportunities will come from this. But what I'm getting at is, because we're not doing this, Greg's on here live, Michael's on here live, you guys are on here live with us, I'm live, everybody else that's on here is on here. We're all connecting with each other and helping. Because you guys showed up today and you've been watching, you got plugged in with Greg Clark, and he's in Memphis, and he knows them. He knows which zip codes are dangerous. He knows which zip codes are good. He can tell you where I bet he's got lists for you guys to pull. You guys can just JV with him. And there is nothing more valuable than being with somebody who's already done the deals, who already knows the ins and outs. So I just want to say, it's really cool that you guys happen to be on here. But Greg, you texted me yesterday and asked if I was free. And what did you call me for? Just so we could kind of talk through this with everybody.
I actually reached out to you to see if you had a connection down in Florida for a deal. And then also, while I had you on the phone, I asked your advice on closing a deal. It was a deal that I door knocked. I probably door knocked it a week ago. I don't think it was my wife's birthday. I don't think I door knocked on my wife's
Better
birthday.
not
I'm
have
not
been.
sure. I'm not sure.
Who am I to talk? I'd be out there on my way.
I mean, her party was actually Friday. I think it
I
was
hope she's
Thursday, her
not
birthday, that I went out and door knocked. But yeah, I left a note. It was just a grueling day for me out door knocking. But I had a lot of doors slammed in my face. And on my way home, I had a guy call me back from one of the notes that I left. Whenever I had a conversation with him, built some really good rapport, and I got black swanned. Not once, but twice.
What does Black Swan mean?
Yeah. So what I mean by black swan is there's always a decision maker sometimes that you don't know about. That I've learned in my experience of being railroaded by this situation multiple times to always ask, is there another decision maker? And actually on this deal, it's a probate situation where a family member has passed away, and so there is another decision maker. And so I made sure that I had a conversation with them, and I'm pretty sure I had the deal closed. But then at the last minute, when I got on a phone call yesterday, when I was about to go in for the kill, the other wife had her husband on the phone who was helping her make the decision. And so it's like I had to go all the way back, and he was like, well, I got a friend and whatnot. So I asked Caroline, quick question about kind of salesy sales tactics and different things like that. And she helped me overcome something. She gave me the right way to word something on the call. And so we locked it up. We locked it up this morning. We already got the buyer on it. That is a $31,000 deal.
Woo! 31,000. We need to start getting a bell or a horn in here so we can talk about that. But guys, I've done the same thing with Michael. Like, Michael, I remember, Michael, you probably don't. I remember feeling super nervous, but I was like, Michael, how do I walk? I've given contracts every month. Yeah, I was like, Michael, what do I say when they ask me about this? Like, he's like, you don't need, they just want the problem solved. Don't worry about going line by line through the contract. So you guys have the same questions I've had. Greg, we all have little situations, and we ask somebody who's been in our shoes before that can help us through it. So don't feel like you're alone in here. This is what this is all about. So I'm glad it worked out for you, Greg, and congratulations on helping a homeowner and getting paid while doing it.
I want to hear about a deal that Tanner and Greg do together real soon.
Yeah, I want to hear about that deal too.
Yeah, me too.
You guys, once you reach out to me, that's my Instagram handle right there on the screen. It's at GregHawk901. Shoot me a DM and let's connect, because that's my bread and butter. I do foreclosures day in and day out.
I gotta add Stacy's name on there too, just so you guys can know. So Stacy can get some claims. So Stacy, I want to see you on here a little bit more. Both of you guys, congratulations on getting that first deal done. Make the calls. Don't make the excuses. Make the calls. You got to make those calls and texts, especially since you guys are going to be virtual.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Love it.
Congratulations,
you,
guys. Yeah, you're
Appreciate
welcome.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon, Greg.
Hey, for sure, Tanner.
All right, Greg. I'm going to bring you up, and then I'm going to get over to Imre. I'm not sure how to say that name, but we'll go to you, and then we'll go to Homer.
I just had a quick question real quick. So I'm dealing with a situation right now where this question's for Michael, maybe for Caroline as well. So I was door knocking. I found a house that was actually with a sign in the yard. It was supposed to be listed, but it wasn't listed. The agent hadn't listed it yet, so I was the first one that came by. She had just put the sign in the yard. I had actually knocked this door 5 times or so last year when it was going in and out, and I found out the house actually sold at auction, but it was in bankruptcy protection, and so it actually got rescinded. And my question is, so it actually got rescinded, and there's another contract on the property. It's not a memorandum. I thought it was, but it's actually like recorded as a contract, which is weird. But my question is, in your experience, have you ever dealt with a sale rescission and then trying to get a postponement again? Have you ever seen that happen?
I don't like referring people to get a bankruptcy, but it's a necessity sometimes. So there have been plenty of times where sales at 10 a.m., let's say, and I get in there and they file with the county clerk at 9:57, and then they get it backdated, let's say, but they don't get it over to the attorney or whoever's conducting the sale until afterwards. So yes, I've dealt with them getting rescinded many times. But normally after you file that bankruptcy, you're going to have quite a while until the sale comes back around. So I wouldn't say that I've had to mess with a postponement real quick. Now, maybe down the line, if that seller is lazy and goes dark or whatever, and then it comes back around and my contract's still in place, I've had to deal with getting a postponement at that time.
Yeah. And so that's the situation I'm dealing with, because actually the house sold in 2022 at auction.
Okay.
It actually sold in 2023 at auction in May. And it was under bankruptcy protection. And so they actually had to have it rescinded. And this was 3 months later that the rescission happened. So it actually transferred deed, and it actually sold at auction. The guy became
the owner. 3 months later?
Yeah. I don't know. If you go back and read the rescission, I'll actually send it to Caroline. She can send it to you. But if you read the rescission, I think it's something to do with them violating the terms of their bankruptcy protection, or maybe they thought the bankruptcy protection was lifted and it was not actually. And so they had to rescind it. They said the foreclosure was invalid actually in the rescission. And so I didn't know if you had dealt with doing a postponement after that. And so just in my head, and I try not to put my mind in their head, but I just sit there and think that this lender's been through so much trying to foreclose on this property that there's no way that they will do a postponement afterwards.
So it's not always the same decision maker at the lender. So I would get that limiting belief out of your head that you can't get it stopped. I mean, they have so many houses that they're dealing with. They, of course, have a file on this house and have information on it from the past, but really it's just a case-by-case basis as it comes in. And if you lay it on pretty thick that, you know, this is a situation the seller really needs help, yada, yada, we're a reliable buyer, this is going to work. I'm always successful with those, even if it's been one where the person's been through 5, 6, 7 times.
Right.
You got those professional sellers that somehow know the system. Like, I don't even know how they do it so many times.
It's like they know the system better than me, bro.
They might.
Yeah.
But no, I think you can get that thing postponed. When's the sale?
It's next Friday. Friday. Not this Friday, but next Friday. So
okay. You think you can get it closed before that?
I have a lender that's ready to go with private funds on it. The only thing is they signed a contract back at the end of last year. And so we're trying to reach out to that guy to see how we can get that released, because I don't think the title company will close with it on there. His actual purchase contract is not that strong of a contract, but you know, it's like
is the contract expired?
It is. It actually is. It was supposed to close on or before the 22nd of December last year, but you know how it is. It's whatever the title requires for you to close it. So
I got you. Well, hopefully those guys be willing to play ball and do the right thing. So
yeah. Well, cool deal. That was my question. I appreciate the value you guys give every Thursday. I try to tune in when I can, especially when I'm outdoor knocking. I appreciate you guys so much, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right.
Seeing you on here, Greg. I have a question for you, because I was telling Michael this. We had a bankruptcy attorney come on yesterday morning. I don't think you were on for the East Coast, but
no, I missed.
I'll get you the recording. But how many bankruptcies has this family had on the property?
This family in particular just had one. So one bankruptcy.
So there was a question yesterday. I was kind of filling Michael in on this. The first bankruptcy automatically does a stay based on, again, I'm not an attorney for everybody. I'm just regurgitating what I've heard. I'm also not a CPA. Don't ask me about your taxes. But what I understood from this attorney, first bankruptcy automatically does a stay. They have to postpone the auction. The second one, I think it'll do an automatic 30-day stay. And then if you do a third bankruptcy filing, you have to go to the courts and ask for permission to extend that. So I would double check with like a bankruptcy attorney you have in your area, pay for their time, get them to, like, maybe you can partner up with them. NITA uses them to file like motions and things and get things passed through. Having an attorney on, because I know Michael's, your title guy used to be an attorney, Rick?
Yeah, he was a foreclosure attorney. That's
why
he's so helpful.
So helpful. So Michael's able to stop auctions 10 minutes before the auction because he's got all the pieces in place.
Right.
You might be able to do that to get like an automatic 30-day extension and then just get that thing dismissed. So I would check in with that. I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Look into it.
Guys, I don't have all the answers. I have other people. You always be learning, and that's how it can help you. Greg, congratulations on getting that deal. I'll send you my fee later on. Good seeing you, man.
Oh, I love you, Caroline. We'll talk to you guys later.
See ya. All right. You got to let me know how to pronounce your name. I don't want to butcher it. Is it Imre?
Well, that's very close, very close. It depends on where you are. If you're in the U.S., Emery is the easiest way. If you're in downtown Budapest, Imre. So Emery.
Emery. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. All right. Well, welcome. First time talking to you. What's your question? What you got going on?
Well, actually, I didn't really have a question. I started calling pre-foreclosures on RedX Vortex. I found those leads to not be accurate. Of course, most people do not pick up, and many wrong numbers. And most that do pick up, there's no lien or there's no pre-foreclosure going on, so it makes it a little bit awkward. And then
so is this your first time on the channel? Is this your first time live on YouTube with us? Is this your first time watching us?
Oh, yes. Yes,
well, cool.
yeah. I watched a bunch of your YouTube videos. The old venerable YouTube University, and I like the approach.
So I'm going to ask you a few questions. And I'm going to pepper you so we can get to what your root problem is here. So why are you contacting homeowners?
Oh my God.
All right, you ready? Why are you contacting homeowners that you think are in pre-foreclosure? What is your end goal?
Well, because they have a problem. The end goal is really to wholesale the properties. That's really the end goal.
If it's possible, so you can make some active income from the homeowners you cannot help. The homeowners you can help that cannot stay in that property, correct? You want to try, if they can't stay in their home and they do need to sell it, you like to be the person that helps them sells it, right?
Wait, you are very fast talking.
Sorry, I'll go a little slower. So you are looking to help homeowners. And if you cannot help them stay in the home, you'd like to help facilitate selling their home, and you'd like to make a fee by helping them through the process. Did I miss anything?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I don't know how many
videos. I realize most people want to stay, but invariably they are unable to stay because if they couldn't make the payments before, they probably can't make any payments on a loan modification or what have you.
Yeah.
Or new financing. And if they had the money to bring it current, they would have already done so. But go ahead.
So that's the case. So what I'm going to say, I'm assuming you haven't seen a lot of stuff that Michael and I've done, which is totally fine. We have a lot of recordings and on YouTube you can go and watch. I'll try and pull one up really quickly so I can show you. But to get accurate data, we've brought this up many a times. Let's go over here. Michael, I don't think you've cleaned one up on you. I say this because I'm going to hire somebody to clean up my YouTube channel, but Michael already has somebody on staff that cleans it. If you go to YouTube, I'm going to share my screen here. And this is for you. And this is for everybody else who's like, where can I get data from? We're going to click on this live section right here where it says live. And you can scroll through and you can see all the videos I've done live with Michael. Let's go to some of our first videos with Michael, because you'll see us talking about pulling the data. Here we go. I think we started with Michael right around here. Our first video, Michael, 6 months ago. There we are. So let's go into, I would probably say one of these. Let's do this one right here. Oh, look, I probably shared my screen. On these videos, you can see where Michael and I say to pull the data from auction.com. I'm going to click on another one and see what I can find. Go to auction.com first to find your pain points or find the properties that you can call. I know I share my screen on any of these. I'll find one and I'll post it on my Instagram after the fact for you. But the fastest way for you to get something under contract, Imre, go to auction.com. You'll see accurate dates because those houses are going to be listed. Make a route that you can door knock. This is why when I was talking to Stacy and Tanner, door knocking is the fastest way. You can also call those homeowners. Just look up that address.
Well, but I'm in Budapest.
Well, then you can't knock. You got to do.
I'm in Budapest, Hungary. So it's
where are you pulling data for, Emery? What market are you working in?
Redex has Florida. Around Orlando.
Florida's a big place.
Orlando.
So first off, if you're going to do this virtually, Florida's probably a tough market just because their foreclosure timeline is so long. The competition is pretty fierce down there. You can get deals. Don't get me wrong. We've had people on this channel that have done their first deal down in Florida. But if you're going to do it virtually, picking a market that has a shorter timeline might be a little bit easier. I don't know if you agree with that, Caroline.
I would agree with that as well. I'd say Florida's a little bit difficult just because they can stay. There's people that have been in foreclosure for 14 years in Florida. If you go to a non-judicial state, they only have 90 days from the date of notice to sell their house or to stop the foreclosure. Does that make sense?
What would be a couple of states you would recommend?
I got all the data in Kansas City. We can work together, Emery.
There you go. So we can get
I promise you I can close them. Speaking of closing, we got let me show you. Hey, team member just closed that up about
somebody signed a contract right now, baby.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
Imre, what we'll do, what I need you to do you have an Instagram, Imre?
I do, but I never really go to Instagram. I've been
That's
on
okay.
Facebook forever. So.
We can send
But
you.
I can go to Instagram.
So go to Instagram and you can message us. You're actually, this is one of my things I was going to say at the end of the episode today, Michael. So we're getting bumped to the front here. What I want you guys to do is if you're looking for free data, I was going to give you guys the list that I've skip traced for my community. Michael, do you have data where people can call Kansas City data for you?
I don't normally do that, but
There you
go.
go. Well, I have data. So if you guys would like to call a list, I will JV with you and help you with that at the end. But you need to message me on Instagram. So the fastest way for me, I don't reply on Facebook. Don't message me on Facebook. But if you message me on Instagram, I can get you that data point. And the other thing I wanted to say, I'll get you the data. You've seen Michael. If you go to Michael's YouTube, let's pull up his YouTube one more time. I'll find one that has, I was trying to look for it quickly on there for you with how we pulled the data points. But if you go to Michael's YouTube, come back over to how to deal with an angry seller. This is your entire script you guys need to know for making these phone calls. All right. Before you steal this video and learn from it, click the like button. Come over here, give a comment. Tell Michael, thank you for paying somebody to clean this up. You have the entire script. You can see, like, he even gives you a tip. Don't be afraid to give value. They have to see you as a trusted advisor. There's so many little key tips on there that Michael's added. All you guys need to do is call these lists and lead with value from the beginning. We will help you out. Just message me on Instagram and I'll send you over some data that's already been skipped. You guys can call it. It's got, and I have the auction dates on there, so it's fresh and new. I think I just gave some of it out last week. You can call those. If you go to auction.com and look up things in Kansas City, because Michael's buying, you can send it over to Michael via Instagram as well. Look at that. Abraham said, BRB, flying to Kansas City. You guys can go door knock in Kansas City and bring them over to Michael. Okay. We want to help you guys out. You just have to initially make that phone call. So Imre, you're in Budapest. It might be a little hard. It looks like it's nighttime for you. Just be mindful. You're doing stuff that's going to be able to happen because you got to be consistent. If you guys are doing this and you're not completely committed to it, I mean, Michael, have you seen anybody that's not been consistent be successful?
Very, very rare. I mean, you're gonna have to do your reps to get that first one. After you get that first one and you unlock it, I see more people be successful being inconsistent just because they've unlocked their brain. But that first one especially, you're gonna have to put in your reps, guys. Not everyone can be as fortunate as me and get it on your first door knock.
It's very rare. So but I think you got it on your first door knock because you had the right energy. Guys, your intuition is very strong. You can feel when somebody's being authentic and wanting to help, and you can tell when somebody's just breathing down your neck trying to buy something from you or trying to scam you out of things. I actually had somebody, these conversations are all blurring together, but they said, I only reason I knew I was in foreclosure is because everybody kept calling me saying they wanted to buy my house from before it went to foreclosure. You're the first person to give me offers, solutions. So just remember, guys, lead with value when you're reaching out. If I know I've said this on different Zooms or different lives, if you guys are looking for the resource guide Michael has created and gives to homeowners, message me. You just got to be following us on Instagram and on YouTube. I'll send that over to you. If you're looking for data to call, message me again on Instagram. I'll shoot that out to you guys. The one thing I want to know on here afterwards, or if you guys can share inside the Facebook group, what did you learn today? What was your biggest takeaway? Where can we make it better? I'm going to be mindful of time. It's 1:00. Michael's got 15 people calling him, trying to get him going. We got to go stop some more auctions. So if you guys,
before we go, is Roman, are you still on here?
Ooh, let's see.
Roman talked about a partial claim. I saw his comment over on the sub 2 group about needing a partial claim agreement help, and he posted about 30 minutes ago. So I don't know if he's still in here or not.
Oh, here we go. This one. Hey, Michael, Roman from sub 2 wanted to see if you could talk about the partial claim agreement. Man, we talked about that a little bit last week too.
Yep. Happy to help if you're in here, Roman. If not, message me. Happy to.
All right.
Help.
Easy money. And then on Saturdays, just the housekeeping stuff. Saturday mornings, Michael answers questions on Instagram Live. And again, every Thursday at 12:00, you guys can see it right below Michael there. Arizona time, we are live on here. Set your alarms on your phone so you know that we're live. You can come in, ask these questions. We're here to help you out. Michael, is there anything else you want to say before I let you get back to saving Kansas City from the banks?
No, I'm glad that we had a few people getting their first deal and connecting on here. That's what this is all about. So appreciate you guys coming on.
Perfect. Well, guys, have a great time. He answers you just do it Saturday morning sporadically when you're out on your workouts and around everybody. Yeah.
Yep.
Easy money. All right, guys, go find those people that need help. Reach out to them. Go knock that door. Lead with value. And we will see you next Thursday at 12 o'clock Arizona time. So see you guys later. Mike.